Welcome back, everyone. Our next guest is a James Beard Award winner. He also has 12 restaurants across the country, and one is probably opening while we're here in the kitchen because he's that busy. I don't know how he's here to cook for us. Today, he's in our kitchen cooking a cozy Mezzi Rigatoni with spicy sausage ragu. Please welcome back the incomparable chef, Michael Schlow. We are so honored to have you here. You're amazing. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, I joke, but I don't know how you find the time to be here.
Well, I don't sleep very much, and I just keep going. They just point me in a direction, and I just cook where they tell me to cook, and all is good.
They wind
me up in Cisco.
And you have 6 restaurants in D.C. Another one's opening very soon.
Yes, and then we're here in L.A. We're at Cavatina at the Sunset Marquis. Also, I also opened up in Detroit this year, which is amazing. Like, the city is just coming alive. It's fantastic what's happening in Detroit. So we're just outside in Birmingham with a restaurant called Adachi there. So lots of exciting stuff. And Boston's home, and obviously that's where I have a bunch of restaurants also.
All right. Well, we're very excited to get into this pasta. As you can see, Larissa, Ken, and Paige have joined Cameron at the counter, and they're not being shy.
This is one of those winter dishes, but I mean, it's great all year long. But this is one of those things that if it's cold outside, I don't know, just satisfies on so many levels. And it's a spicy sausage ragu. What we did is while we were doing the intro, we sauteed a little bit of with some olive oil, some onions, and some garlic. And if you want, you can leave the garlic in there, or you can remove it. It's totally up to you.
Okay.
A little bit of red wine. Nothing crazy fancy, but something that you would drink at least.
All right.
You want to let that reduce down, and what the trick here is. The wine is going to give a little bit of body to the onions and the garlic and get everything started. We're going to put a pinch of rosemary in this.
Nice.
And spicy's good with you?
Yes, I love spicy.
So some crushed red pepper, a little pinch of salt.
And you know that it's very simple, but I think sometimes the simplest of dishes can be the most difficult to make because you can't hide behind anything.
Like sushi, for example, is exactly like that. And for me, the best pastas are the simplest ones. My favorite one is just spaghetti with tomato basil sauce, and not too complicated. Great pasta doesn't need like a long laundry list of ingredients to it.
Right.
To this, once this red wine's cooked down, we're going to add some fennel sausage, and you can make this spicy or sweet sausage.
So
totally
good.
up to you.
Yeah. Could you do turkey sausage?
You know, if you don't want to have pork sausage, of course you could. You could just leave this out. You could put eggplant in this. I mean, this is a very versatile thing, and this sauce is something you could absolutely make in advance. In fact, I suggest it. This is San Marzano tomatoes.
Which are the greatest tomatoes.
They're the only tomatoes that I use, and what we're going to do is we're going to just put those in there, and we're going to let this simmer away. This would take about, if you were just going to let this go on a nice slow simmer, maybe about 8 minutes or so. You would drop the pasta into like super, boiling water. You want the water to always be rapidly boiling, otherwise you get this sort of gummy, starchy pasta.
Okay, so make sure the water's boiling before your pasta goes
and
in.
it should have salt in it too.
How much salt? That's a question, because I just go back to my science class as a kid. I thought it lowered the boiling points. Is there like a science to this?
There is no real science to it. It's to taste. And you know what? If you're on a low sodium diet, don't put a lot in. But it does season the pasta.
It does.
Taste the water with a spoon. It should be, like the sea, but not like the Dead Sea. You shouldn't be floating.
Is it true? Does it boil quicker when you add sodium to it? I mean, is that just me? That's not the point. That's not the point.
I think so. So I just, right beforehand, I cooked this pasta so it's nice and al dente.
So you don't cook it fully through because you're going to put it back in,
Correct.
right?
And so the thinner the pasta, the more close you want to take it out to how you want to actually eat it.
All right.
And so with this rigatoni, you want to make sure that you get to cook the rigatoni and the sauce together so they sort of become one.
And the sausage was not cooked when you put it in the sauce, was it?
No, this one was, but you know what? If you want
cooked,
to, if you want to, you can cook it in there also. If you don't want to make another, dirty pan, you just want to cook it in one pan, put it right in there.
Either way, it's fine.
That's fine, yeah. So you want to make sure that this has a chance to sort of cook together for a few moments.
Now, would you ever add, because a lot of chefs do this, the starch water back into your ragu?
Absolutely. So if it's dry,
From the pasta.
you take that starchy water, and you always have a little bit of it, and you bring it back to it, and that's a great way to make this sauce like the perfect texture. And then the last thing you want to do to this.
So beautiful and so easy. Look how quickly
really
that came
is.
It does not taste easy, by the way. It tastes very fancy.
It tastes expensive.
Yes, it does.
Tomatoes, did you say they were?
These are San Marzano tomatoes. They come in a can. They're the most consistent, sweet tomatoes from Italy. And I tell people, take the time to read the back of that can, because if they're, like from Hoboken, New Jersey or something like that, they're still delicious, I'm sure, but it's not as good as the ones that are actually done.
Nothing wrong with Hoboken.
I love Hoboken.
Not as authentic as Italy.
I went to high school right outside of Hoboken.
He's an East Coast
So
guy.
a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and this is Grana Padano, and that's the grating cheese you would use in Italy if you can find Grana Padano. But you see how the pasta and the sauce are sort of becoming together?
Wow.
Beautiful.
And that's really what you want this
You
to
put
be.
the cheese right in there.
Yeah, you put it right into it, and that's going to help help tighten up the sauce as well.
And I also love the size of the onions, the way that you've cut them. You didn't, didn't dice them; they were sliced beautifully.
This is a rustic dish again. I mean, you look at something like that, and we should probably eat some of this.
Yes,
You're going to want to. It is good.
As you're plating that, I'd love to ask you. I know last time you were here, you talked about having a potential different career path originally. You ultimately went into culinary school, but where did your love of cooking come from?
Well, so I mean, I came from a family that really good cooks. You know, my grandmother was a great cook. My mom's a great cook. If she's watching, I have to say that. Right? But she really is a great cook. The whole family is.
Don't mind us. We'll just help ourselves.
I'm helping myself.
But my whole family's into food, and not just for nutritional sustenance. They're into food. We're eating lunch, and they're talking about what are we going to have for dinner.
Oh my gosh!
And so I really had almost like it was just a part of our everyday existence. And while I loved baseball, this was something that even as a little boy I loved to cook. And I did love to play baseball, but I'm really lucky that I found this as a career because I don't go to work. I get to go to a place that I I love every single day.
Yeah, and baseball's a much shorter career path. I
That would have been many
You wouldn't be playing anymore.
I've been injured, and then what would have happened?
Exactly.
And you have two beautiful daughters. Do they like to cook too?
They love to cook. They love food, and I get to play in the kitchen with them all the time. And yeah, that's my daughter Petra, and that's my daughter Excel. And you see, she's really concentrating on cracking that egg right there, And the younger one says, "Daddy, there's only two chefs in the family, me and you." And she's
How
awesome.
does your mom feel about that?
Well, probably she accepts it. But it's great to have them in the kitchen with me. And my wife really encourages, that we all take part in things in the kitchen. And whether it's baking or making pasta or what have you, it's a really nice way for the family to be together also and then have a meal together. But I try to go to the kids' school and do stuff for projects and things like that. Yeah, it's really cool.
How lucky are they?
I know.
Michael Schlow showing up at the kids' school. The other parents might be a little intimidated. They're like, wow,
This
James
is
Beard award winning
making macaroni and cheese at the school, That's what I do.
Follow him up, are you? Thank you so much
We love
for
it
being
when you're
here.
here,
It's my
Michael.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Fantastic rigatoni here. For the full recipe, head over to hallmarkchannel.com. And for more information on Michael and his restaurants, please visit michaelschlow.com.